I wanted to start with a Carl Jung quote. It goes like this: one of the most satisfying experiences I know is just to fully appreciate an individual in the same way that I appreciate a sunset. When I look at a sunset, I don't find myself saying, soften the orange a little bit on the right hand corner and put a little more purple in the cloud color. I don't try to control a sunset. I watch it with awe as it unfolds. In this, it is this receptive, open attitude which is necessary to truly perceive something as it is. I want to apply this to relationships. And I'm saying this because I struggle with this, right? I'm saying this because it's a great reminder for myself. I, like many people, have a habit, a horrible habit, a damaging habit of putting a black light to relationships, being in my head, falling into the mental trenches, the cognitive distortions, possibly future tripping, instead of really experiencing the moments like a sunset. And here's what stuck for me: I watch it with awe as it unfolds. It is this receptive, open attitude which is necessary to truly perceive something as it is. And so, what does that look like for you to watch your relationship in awe? So, for me, when I think about that, um, I think about, because to me, it doesn't mean to not do nothing, right? To me, it means to see the relationship as something that is unfolding, in that it has a life of its own, right? Both of you have invested in this, and this thing, this living, breathing thing, which is your relationship, has a life of its own. And to watch it unfold instead of trying to grab, control, wrestle, manipulate the relationship to how you see it, or what you want, to actually let it be its own thing. It's also the it's also the struggle we have, or maybe I should say I have, with raising a child, right? So your child, even though you created it, or you were part of um, you were part of it in the creation of this child, the child, and I have to remind myself all the time, I have a 3-year-old. She is her own person. And yeah, of course, there are some things about her that remind me of me, but she is not me. She has her own personality and sense of humor and sassiness. And sometimes I look at her and I'm like, fuck, I created something that I can't control. This little half Korean, I call her chicken nugget. She has her own opinions at 3. She has her, I mean, she's just her own. She draws boundaries. She pushes me away. She wants things done on her own time. Um, and of course, there's a part of me that wants to control, because I created her, or at least I helped create her. And there's this weird ownership, this weird possession, because she's my child, that she should act a certain way, or I'm going to make her act a certain way, or think a certain way. And I think we as parents create the space, right? We as parents can have rules and structure, because they need that. But at the end of the day, the unfolding, right, that we're supposed to watch with awe, which is sometimes really difficult, the unfolding as she grows and learns and falls and picks herself back up and learns and grows, that is all her. And I should not get in the way of that. I should support, encourage, champion, create the space. But I am her parent. I am not her um, controller, right? She is not my puppet. She is not a vehicle for me to steer. And I think with relationships, we can also get into thinking that this thing that we created um, is ours, or at least we think it's half ours. And so we want it to go this way. Our partner may want it to go that way. There's a lot of tug of war. If we both sat in the back seat, or at least rode shotgun, and allowed the relationship to unfold, trusting that what you have built is now in the sky, meaning that it is a kite that both of you had to run with to get it to where it's at, assuming that it is healthy, and not toxic, right? And by the way, healthy is hard. I think many people think healthy comes naturally, and it doesn't. It requires work, and it requires a lot of looking inward and leaning into resistance and what's uncomfortable, tearing down old definitions, exploring your own activation, like all of the stuff, which is really hard, right? But that's two people running in the same direction to get this kite in the sky. And if you're doing that and you do that for long enough, then the kite goes in the sky and it starts to fly on its own. It starts to become its own thing. And then both of you can kind of step back and watch the kite fly. Most of us do not do that in relationships. Ask yourself what that would look like for you. So for me, going back to this Carl Rogers quote, is to be receptive, have an open attitude, and truly perceive something as it is. It's to accept and understand, not just one time, but as a daily practice, your partner, um, not to try to control. And I think acceptance, at least for me, is it's so challenging, because even if I know that logically I'm not trying to control my partner, we sometimes do it in subtle ways. I mean, it comes out in energy. It comes out in um, neediness. It comes out in sending our partner Instagram videos because we think that they're going to learn and grow or change because of them. It could come out in uh, like a pouty, a poutiness, which I have been guilty of. It could come out in very different forms, and then obviously come out in just like literally toxic, controlling, possessive behavior. But um, but it leaks. The controlling can leak, and when it does, we are not allowing our relationships to unfold, and we are not watching in awe. We are in the trenches, wrestling with our partner, ourselves, and hence stunting that relationship. So, just a reminder today that one of the most satisfying experiences that you will fully appreciate is to appreciate a relationship, in this case, like you do a sunset, and to watch it in awe from a healthy distance. See the beauty in what it is and be present instead of wishing it was different or this was a different color. Um, I think that's beautiful, and I think it's a great reminder to all of us to see people slash relationships in this way. Not only intimate relationships, not only romantic relationships, but also um, friends and family. And I gotta say, especially family, because it's so hard. Because with our family, we have history, and those tracks that were laid since we were children are still there. And it's really hard when we go home for the holidays or visit our family to not snap back into, the 13-year-old. And so to watch your family accept them, to support them, to watch the relationship you have with them, and also them as individuals grow, watch with awe, watch like you're watching a sunset, appreciating their choices, even if they're not the ones that you would make, right? And watching them like a beautiful sunset, watching their story, their choices, their unfolding, and of course your relationship with them in all like a beautiful sunset. Thank you for listening. Be well.